Now that we are familiar with the basics, we are now ready to dive into the actual coding. In this example, we will learn to print Hello World on the screen in C programming. We will use the printf function of the stdio library. Type in Hello World as our first argument, then end with the terminator, compile, and run. Then, we have successfully displayed Hello World on our screen. In this example, the integer entered by the user is stored in a variable and will be printed on the screen. We declared an integer type variable called number. Using the printf function, we will tell the user what to do. And using the scanf function, we will now allow the user to input value using the keyboard. We use %t since we are expecting an integer number. Next, in order to print the data, we need to use printf with two arguments. First argument is the message. Then we use %d as format specifier, and then comma, then the variable you want to display the value. And here, we try to compile and run. So we have the message, enter an age. We have inputted 10, and then you enter the value 10. Note that the value inputted for this example, 99, is stored on the variable number. In this example, the user is asked to input two integers, get the sum, and display it on the screen. So we will now declare some variables, num1 and num2, and then the sum variable. Next, using printf, we will now try to tell the user what to do. We have the message enter first number. Using scanf allows the user to input data to our program. We will be using %d since we are using integer variable and then the variable num1 for the first number. So we'll just duplicate these two lines here, change the message for the second number, and then change the variable name num2. Next is to calculate the sum. All you have to do is using the plus symbol or the addition symbol, get the sum of the two numbers. Now to display the sum, using printf, we will now have two parameters for our printf, two arguments. The sum is, then %d, since first sum is an integer, then comma, sum variable. Just a method, our specifier, and then any value which is on sum will be displayed on our %d. Okay, let's compile and run. Okay, enter first number, 45 and 5, then that. We have get the sum of the first and second number. We have the input. and then that. That is how to write a program that will accept two inputs and then get the sum. Example, we'll get the product of two decimal number inputted by the user and then display it on the screen. So we'll now use double since we are dealing with decimal number. And printf a message to tell the user what to do. Shall we say enter first decimal number so that the user can input the number. Now we will now be using lf since we are dealing with double and the address of num1 or the first variable. Num1 representing the first digit or the first decimal number. So we just duplicate this and then change the message. And then we'll now get the product of our two numbers. The product is equal to num1 and num2. Oh, sorry, change the variable there, num2 times num2. Then in order to display it using printf with two arguments, the first argument is the message. Then format specifier, %lf, and then comma, then your variable product. Compile, then run. So enter the first decimal number. Let's say, since it is a decimal, so we just put a decimal number. Then we have now multiplied two decimal numbers. About another value, that we have here multiple decimal number. So we can change that, we can format that. All you have to do on your specifier or format specifier on displaying the value, just put limit to your decimal number. For this example, 0.2 or meaning 0.2 decimal places or 2 decimal places. Notice that you have now only 2 decimal numbers. This is how you get the product of two decimal numbers. For the last example, we will learn how to find a quotient and remainder when an integer is divided by another integer. First, you need to declare some variable. So we have here the dividend, and then the divisor, quotient, and then the remainder. And then the message. To input or to accept the input from the user, %d, then the variable, duplicate this, and we'll rename it to the divisor, and then change the variable name to divisor. And then we'll now compute for the quotient. Oh, we forgot the terminator here. Quotient. In order to get the quotient, we need to use the slash or the division symbol. Dividend divided by the divisor. And then for the remainder, so It is similar to division, but you are using now percent or the modulo symbol. Remember that modulo gets the remainder of a value. Printf, try to display the message. Or percent %d, since it is an integer, and then the variable to be displayed. Then next is the remainder message, then the placeholder, then comma, then the variable, the value of the variable to be displayed. So let us compile. Oh, we have an error here. Okay, wrong spelling. Make sure that you have the right variable being declared. And compile. So the quotient is 9, remainder is 0. So notice that we are in printing in one line. So we need to put next line indicator there, either the end part here or in the beginning of the next line. Here. Compile, run. And there. Okay. So we have now successfully um, write a program that will get the quotient and a remainder of a number. And last value, trial. Okay.